will soon be forced to have digital IDs. UK citizens will soon be forced to have digital IDs. Otherwise, they will not be able to work. They won't be able to fly. They won't be able to take trains. Pretty much, they won't be able to do anything.
Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise and honor and glory be to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Bashem Rakak Wadash. And as always, I want to say double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and blessings to the hopeful elect out there listening and learning and teaching this word in sincerity and truth, and a sincere hopes that we may edify and feed the lambs of Yahushai, especially in these last days. And we done told you this was coming. All right, and you got that term called gradualism. Just to get straight into this video, it's not going to be a long one, but we told you about the term gradualism and how you saw the Prime Minister of the UK pushing digital IDs. At one breath he said he wasn't going to shirt it, we're not going to duck it. Then they went back on it. But now you got the king. He's pretty much come out and said, look, we're going to push it. He's going to get his ministers to push it over here. It's coming. All right. And like this guy said, you ain't going to be able to travel. You ain't going to be able to do this. You ain't going to be able to do that. And ultimately, the ultimate form of digital ID is going to be, pushed with the RFID chip, or the NFC. Over here in Europe, they call it the near field communication, which is nothing but the internet of everything coming together, and you pretty much operating on a grid, not being able to operate unless you have the chip, not being able to buy it and sell unless you have the chip, and over here at GMS, we always be pushing this hot and heavy because this is what we've been taught. The scriptures tell you, continue that in the things which thou hast learned. All UK citizens will soon be required to have a digital brick card. And I remember Elder Apostle Tahar doing a video saying that what the elect in the UK shall be tried first. So this thing is coming. It wasn't so long ago that Trump came over here to Britain, to speak about pushing that technology. Trump. Let me type this in. When was this? This happened. During his second state visit to the UK in September 2025, President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Keir Starmer signed a tech prosperity deal, a landmark agreement focused on collaboration with AI, quantum computing, and civil nuclear energy. So we're not making these things up when we tell you these things. Like these are the things that actually happen. And now he's over there at China. And pretty much who knows what they're discussing over there. Okay, so let's go back to that. Let's go back to that clip real quick.
Without digital IDs.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID.
So this is what the Prime Minister said in 2025. This was last year. This is what he said. Keir Starmer said this.
Mandatory for the right to work by the end of this parliament.
You see how they've been manipulating the global crisis? Remember, the scriptures tell you in 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So they're gradually introducing, this chip, but they're desensitizing the people to get used to it by pushing this digital ID and this, they're pretty much pushing it in stages, but gradually getting to their ultimate New World Order goal agenda, where they want everyone completely chipped and controlled.
Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom.
Let me spell that out. Really, this guy's a smarmy, cocky. You see the way he's, let me spell that out. This is when he announced digital ID cards, and now the king has actually said, look, he's going to get his ministers to work on this. So, I thought they scrapped it, but they ain't scrapped it. We done told you they ain't scrapping it. So for all you guys that you doubted and you scoffed and you scorned and you thought that this wasn't going ahead yet, they said they was gonna do it, but they shirted on it. No, they're still doing it. They're still doing it. And and ultimately, man, this is biblical prophecy at its finest. Let's get Habakkuk 2 and 3. And they're gonna enforce this, man. They're gonna give you Jake hell. All right, Jacob's trouble is just around the corner. Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. By the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. So this is coming, whether you like it or not. And they ain't shirting on it. They ain't shirting on it.
You do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that. Because decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people, they want us to tackle the issues that they see around.
You see that? Decent, pragmatic, fair-minded people. So if you don't want this, then you're not a decent, pragmatic, fair-minded individual in society. And then comes the social credit scoring system, just like they showed you in Black Mirror, Nosedive, that episode, with a ginger chick, and she couldn't go on a plane because her credit score was too low. She couldn't rent a car because her credit score was too low. And then she met up with the off-the-grid chick, and she was driving that big-ass lorry. And she had to hitchhike just to get to this wedding. Who she was going to be the maid of honor with, for her wedding. That person, she had a super high credit score because she was super involved in the system. But that ginger chick in that Black Mirror episode, she was trying to stay up there, keep up with the Joneses, or keeping up with the Kardashians, or whatever you want to call it. She was trying to keep up. But in the end, she ended up crashing out because her credit score ended up going so low that she just got embarrassed before the rest of the others that were highly integrated into the system. All right, so we done told you that these things are coming. Remember, the scriptures tell you the devil is come down onto you having great wrath because he knoweth that he have but a short time. That's Revelation 12 and 12. So they're moving on this. But when they go to do that, the Most High is going to cast the fury of his wrath upon him. When they go to fill their belly, meaning when they go to institute this chip, that's how you know that Yahweh Shai is returning. Man, we ain't got much longer, man. Like the scripture says in Romans 13 and 11, that now it's high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. All right, so this is just around the corner now. When these people least expect it. When they shall say peace and safety. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 3.
And of course, the truth is, we won't solve our problems if we don't also take on the root causes, looking upstream to tackle poverty, conflict.
Guys, in all actuality, they want to make you slaves. They want to control your every move. They want to know everything you're doing, and they want to make it where you absolutely need them. It's like
they're gonna do that through the chip. They're gonna do that through pushing the chip, man. All right, so we have not backtracked on what we've prophesied about. We've not, we haven't contradicted ourselves. We know that the chip is coming, and that's the mark of the beast. You see that digital infrastructure is coming. It's everywhere. And the more you try and put it off, it's futile because it's coming. It's inevitable. All right, they're gonna push that RFID chip, and they're gonna chip these people out here. And when you get denied from entering the store, because you don't have the chip, or when you get denied from going into a city, like the scripture says in 2 Ezra 15 and 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. When you get these things implemented, put in place, chipping stations and checkpoints, and you try to go from one place to the next and you can't do it, just know it's because you didn't have the chip in you. All right, and then it's the hour of temptation. It's gonna come down upon all them. In fact, let's get that scripture. I'm gonna close out on this, Revelation 3 and 10. But because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this is coming, whether you like it or not. It's all a part of biblical prophecy. See, this is what I'm saying. All the pride of individuals walking around, all these high-priced jobs, people getting paid for just sitting behind their desk, working from home, and thinking everything's cushy. All of this, viruses, pestilences, threatening a new lockdown. But ultimately, it's leading up to what? Them pushing that chip. It's the hour of temptation. People thinking that they're all cushy and comfortable right now, you know, in the near future, in the so close, so near future, are going to be, you know, pretty much very uncomfortable in very tight scenarios. So we don't have much longer to wait. We just have to keep on fighting the good fight of faith. The Lord said, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So that's coming. All right, the vision, which is for an appointed time. So with that, man, I pray you were edified. And the Lord said, look, I also will keep thee. So the Lord's going to keep us from that, you know? So just stay prayed up, man. Shalom to the elect.